Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Stars of Big Sky Country, the series that spotlights those athletes at the high school, collegiate, and professional level that have had an impact either in the state or started here and made an amazing career outside of it. But either way, an impact on the 406. And I am your host, Richard, the T-Man Teeman. And when you start a new series, you think, okay, what's the first episode got to be like? And I want to have, a conversation with each person in each episode. And a young man that I've had incredible conversations with over the last few years is a perfect fit to lead off this series because he is the definition of a leader on and off the field. He is a Great Falls High Bison, the man I have dubbed the man beast of Memorial Stadium, Mr. Mason Kralj. Mason, welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. It's exciting to start a new series, and we wanted to get kind of the first three, somebody at each level. And so we're starting off high school because there's just so much left ahead of you guys. I mean, yeah, these 4 years in high school are going to be great. You're celebrating your senior year, which is a very bittersweet year, but you guys are having a great football season, and you're a multi-sport athlete, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But, my icebreaker, I usually like to try to mix it up and get your thoughts on maybe some popular debates out there. So for you, milk first or cereal first?
I'm always gonna have to be a cereal first guy, always. So yeah,
Perfect, man. Yeah, I'm a cereal first kind of guy too. And I do know people that swear by the milk first method. And they're like, well, that's how you know how much cereal to pour in. It's like, no, like that's not how this works. So
yeah,
it's
I
good to
agree.
hear.
I agree.
Yeah, good to hear that you are normal anyway. I mean, everybody else is, but that's how I feel about it. My real icebreaker, though, or the question that I love asking everybody their first time interviewing in any capacity with me here is, what's it like to be Mason Kralj?
Um, it's not as glamorous as sometimes it may seem. It's really fun though. With the three sports I've played, I've met so many great people that I'm gonna be able to carry friendships with for the rest of my lives. And there's some kids that I've met through football, basketball, and track that I probably never would have talked with if I didn't join those sports. And now those people are really kind of become lifetime best friends and almost like family to me, which is just I'm so blessed to be. But again, not super glamorous, just but it is really fun for how many people I've met in my life, and I just feel genuinely blessed. So.
Well, I know that you are, if nothing else, humble. I almost said that you're like the modest monster because of the way that you play out there on the field. And then, of course, every time I talk to you before or after, I couldn't find a more Jekyll and Hyde kind of player. And I absolutely love that about you. You are a linebacker and a running back. And so I got to ask, which is your preference?
I love outside linebacker. It's definitely my favorite because I feel like on offense you're the one getting hunted, as with defense you're hunting. And I love that aspect. I love being the person that gets to hunt instead of get hunted. So yeah, definitely outside linebacker was the first defense position and first position in football that I got to play. So I love it. I love it more than anything, and I love that you can kind of be like a quarterback of the defense. And I love that aspect of it as well. So yeah.
Definitely a role made for a leader, which you are. I mean, every time that you and I have conversations, I always feel like I've taken more away from that conversation than I started out with before you and I talked. And one of the conversations we had was, you and the role in advocating for more awareness on men's mental health. Like, talk to me a little bit about that. I mean, at such a young age, obviously, it's still very important. But to feel like, you need to be the change you want to see in the world, you need to step in and step up and raise awareness for something like that. I mean, where does that come from?
Yeah, the group in Great Falls High, and Seymour has a group as well. It's called Peer Mentor Group, and um, this class of seniors, it actually started when we were freshmen. So, but it's basically just a group to kind of end the stigma of men's mental health and just mental health in general around our high school. And they give us different mindfulness skills or anything to help others that are dealing with severe depression. So we just do everything we can to kind of make especially Great Falls High more of a family atmosphere. Make it okay to talk about stuff like that. And We know Great Falls High, they're going to graduate and become, hopefully part of the Great Falls community. So it not only affects Great Falls High and CMAR, but it affects the entire community, which, we can't, be happy enough to be a part of that group that it does impact so many people. So, yeah, it's a great group, and it really has done so many great things, not only for so many people, but definitely for me, as a human going on. So yeah.
Hey, there's a lot of pressure, man. I've lived in Spokane, Washington, which was right next to the Idaho border, and then South Dakota, Nebraska, and now Montana. And I gotta tell you, like, they're all states where the men are considered manly men. There's no sign of weakness. You are the rock. You are the provider for your family. Nothing breaks you. And so there is definitely a stigma. I've seen it. I've experienced it myself. And for you, you're playing football in one of the manliest states, Montana. Has it been a challenge for you at all in that regard, or were you maybe surprised at some of the response that you got and maybe the turnout?
It's obviously there's always gonna be pressure, but the coach sheet always says this, and I try to look at it, and this has really helped, is I try to look at pressure as a privilege. It means things are expected out of you. And, I will always, associate that with the pressure that's been given to me. But some other people, don't deal with it quite as well. And there is kind of a stigma about you have to be manly and you have to support your family, which is okay. But it's also okay to talk about what's going on in your life. And that's why we kind of made this group, to make it okay to not be okay, and we really just try to, support those people that aren't, necessarily having the best day, coming to school every morning, or being afraid coming to school every morning. And that's why I really think this group is a really positive thing, for, again, not only Great Falls High, but for the community. So
Make it okay to not be okay, man. That is a great quote. I feel that one for sure.
mm,
Well, we mentioned it being Montana, where we are right now. And of course, this is a series named after that state, Stars of Big Sky Country. So, what is it about Montana, maybe the state in general, or maybe Great Falls and its culture more specifically, that has, I guess, shaped you into not only the student athlete that you are, but the man that you are and hope to become?
Great Falls has done, so many great things for me. I was born and raised here, and the people that I grew up around, really inspired me to do a lot with my life. Like, I can't thank my coaches enough. Like Coach Cheetah, I aspire to be like Coach Cheetah or Coach Stovert. They're just great humans. Not only are they phenomenal football coaches, but they're also great humans. So you can go with them, and you can ask them anything about football, and they could tell you exactly what you need to know. But you also aren't afraid to go up to them and ask them a little bit about life, and they're gonna, give you everything you need to know about that too, and more. And that's why, me and the rest of the senior class respect them so much. But yeah, again, Great Falls, Montana has really shaped me and the rest of my friends into. I really think, all my friends are great people, and I think that's apart from coming from such a tough town like Great Falls, Montana. So yeah.
All right, man. Well, what about, I guess, any moments in your life? Was there a turning point that made you focus so hard on not only being a leader, but just being a leader in sports, especially physical sports like football?
I went to Sunnyside all my life, and I kind of, didn't make the best decisions growing up when I was a elementary kid, and an elementary student. I misbehaved a lot, but I noticed that, with sports, I kind of could use that to get me out of, stuff like that. And in the sixth grade, I went to a summer camp called NBC camp, National Basketball Camps, and it really changed my point of view on, what sports can really do for a kid. It can really flip a kid's life around in a positive manner. And not only me, but there's been so many other kids where I've seen them, kind of have not the most complete or the best childhood, and the sport really kind of pulls them out of that. Um, and I can't, thank, the game of football enough for that. And I knew that uh, football was a huge thing for me and everything. So
Well, man, that's good to hear. And yeah, sports, significant impact. I was never very good at them, but I love sports, especially football, which is why it's so much fun to watch you guys Friday night go out there and have gotten to know you guys. And sometimes I feel I guess like out of place being, around like high school kids for as long as I am. But at the same time, me and a friend, we realized that it's good to keep friends, even if just a couple at like various age groups, because, me and my friends who graduated together, we'll keep it real as far as, like, oh, he just got married. I've been married 10 years. We'll sort of go back and forth about like life, it's not what we expected, or this going according to plan or not. And then you have your older friends who kind of give you tips as far as like this is what you can expect, later on, even if life doesn't line up exactly how theirs did. They can be like, that here's what's coming down the pipe for you. And then you have your younger friends that kind of keep things, in my opinion, in perspective. There's so much innocence about children and how naive they are because the world hasn't been ruined for them yet. And so when you talk to younger kids, people at the high school age, they still dream. They still have such great aspirations. And sometimes it's a nice reminder that, that there's still a whole world out there and there's still so much life left to be lived. So, talking with you guys and hanging around you, it definitely makes me feel younger, but it keeps things in perspective too. So I've always appreciated that about you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is important to listen to the young voices. A lot of young people have really great minds and really great ideas, and I think it's important to utilize those great ideas and great minds. But um, yeah, I can't agree more with that. And then it's also important to have older, foes that are mentors to you and have been through. It's not their first rodeo; they've been through it, many times, and can give you so many words of advice that you can utilize for really the rest of your life. So yeah, I can't agree more with you. I really can't.
Well, let's talk about some fun things then. Obviously, you are captain of the football team, one of them, but you wear the legacy number, which is a tremendous honor, very deserving. I've known the couple players that have worn it before you, and so it's clearly trending in the right direction as far as every person that's worn it has deserved to wear it, and you fit that bill perfectly. But you're out there, you're playing both sides, offense, defense. You prefer linebacker, but my co-host for the Fan Show, Malcolm, he's a linebacker as well. He wanted to know if you felt that it gave you any kind of advantage on the field playing both sides and those positions specifically.
Absolutely. I think, playing linebacker, it really helps you understand what the defense is trying to do when you're playing running back. Like, hey, this defense is in this type of pre-snap and post-snap set. We could really do this to gash them because I know defensively, offenses can do this to us. Whatever defense you run and whatever offensive play you're trying to run. So, playing linebacker and running back really helps you find those weaknesses from each side of the ball and help whichever side of the ball you're on at that certain play or that certain game. So you can help your offense out tremendously by knowing what the defense likes to do, and you can help your defense out tremendously by knowing what the offense is trying to do pre-snap or post-snap. So yeah, it helps so much. It almost like it really makes you a student of the game, and I love that feeling. So yeah.
All right, man. Well, good to know that there's an advantage there. Certainly looks like it when you take the field. So I guess if it's a cheat code, you've unlocked it. But what about the team? Let's get some dirt here. Who's got the messiest locker in that locker room?
Okay, so the messiest locker, I don't know. It's a tough one, but I think it's definitely going to have to go to Riley Collette, the quarterback. Riley Collette. You wouldn't suspect it, but he has like
No.
these. You would never suspect it, but it's. I mean, granted, we're not like none of us are super clean, but it's a close one between Luke Aker and Riley Collette, and they're like tied. But like Luke has everything, just everywhere, all the time, and Riley Collette has like everything, everywhere, all the time. But I will say, like, if you ask anyone else, though, they would probably say me because my stuff's all over the place. I'm like, where's my shoes at? And then they happen to be in the weight room or the wrestling room or the gym upstairs. Like, and like everyone knows about like me being a mess, but like if I had to pick, it would be Riley Collette or Luke. And then Tyber's probably the neatest. Tyber Hagan's probably the neatest, or Trace Hewlett or Jace Kirkhart. And then Isaac and Schaefer are up there for the dirtiest. But like Tyber had like a bunch of granola bars like in his thing, and Riley like goes in there and like took all his granola bars. Like I remember one day I was like Tyber, like, do you have any granola bars? He's like, no. Riley ate them all. I was like, okay. But yeah, no, I would say Riley Collette. But yeah.
Which is surprising because I mean, okay, so I think about a locker room and I remember PE classes and stuff, and naturally there's like stereotypes for every position, and especially in football. So I'm thinking, the linemen probably just like throw everything in a big pile on the floor or whatever. You've got the captains of the team that have like the inspirational quotes in the locker or whatever. Defensive guys, there's like dents in the locker because they're like banging their head, getting hyped up before they go out there. Riley being a quarterback, I mean, that's a very, fashionable, popular position. So I see like hair products because he's got the longer hair, and just very neat and tidy because he's got like an image to uphold. So it's very surprising to hear that your guys' quarterback has the messiest locker. That's just too good.
Yeah, no, I would say so, but I mean, don't get me wrong, Riley still is also like about like making his hair look good and all that stuff. But like you talked about, like the defensive players hitting their head against the locker. That's something I could totally see Luke Aker doing in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, he would totally do that. But yeah,
That's awesome. Okay, so we got some of that dirt on here. What is a hype song for you, pregame?
whew, that's a tough one. Hype song. Holy cow, that is a tough. Oh, probably a lot of the team likes to listen to um Many Men by 50 Cent. They
Okay.
love that song. They love it. And I like it too, but and then there's one that we always listen to. It's I think it's an AC/DC song. I'm not super like, I don't know a lot about artists or songs, but it's like, I think it's Thunderstruck. I'm pretty sure it's the name.
Okay.
And then I'm pretty sure it's AC/DC, but I could be wrong. But I'm not a super like bang my head, like listen to music type of guy, because I feel like that gets me nervous. I like to be like calm before the storm, really, like before the game, and just relax. And so I like to listen to country music. I love country music, like Zach Bryan, or anything country. I really like listening to. Probably not pregame, but yeah, that's my probably favorite music. So I don't really necessarily have like a hype song, but our favorite team's hype song is Many Men by 50 Cent. That's like everyone's favorite.
Wow, that's funny. In Montana, I was like, it's got to be a country or like a classic rock song. But
Yeah.
okay,
Mhm.
50 Cent. There was a guy I knew that played for the arena team in Spokane. He had like three levels of like pregame ritual slash warm up. So he would go to his locker, get dressed in silence, read his favorite like Bible verses, right? And then he would basically turn on a song real quick, and then as he crank it all the way loud, and then walk out. And once he got to the field, just start yelling, just like yelling at the turf, yelling at the empty stands. I mean, that was how he got hyped for the game. And I mean, it worked, but it was just the very unique three-step process. It was like silence, then music, and then like as loud as you could be, just shouting
That's
at nothing. So.
Yeah, that's super. I know a lot of guys that have like very specific like uh pregame rituals, which I completely understand. Some guys are super superstitious. I try to stay away from being superstitious, but sometimes I can be like that too. But me and Luke Aker also, like you said, we like to read a couple Bible verses before the game. That really gets me going. I would say more than music ever would. But yeah.
Is there anybody that has a ritual where you kind of look over at it and you're like, I don't know how you came up with that, but if it works, then I'm not going to say anything about it.
Um, there's gotta be. I know there's gotta like I know I've seen something that I was like, what the heck? There's been like cool there's been like cool stuff. Like I know like some guys just will like get in their stance and get ready and like visualize. Like I've seen that. And then I know Rankin, like he loves just grabbing a ball and like acting like he's going through a drill in slow motion or visualizing a play. And I think that's really cool. But I swear there's been a couple where I'm like, what are you doing? Like I think it's like Dane McMahon really gets into it. He puts his headphones on, and I mean, he walks through the weight room like he's just gonna, walk like like he could walk through hell with a smile, like with the
That's
way
awesome.
oh my gosh, he's just so locked in. I looked over at that and been like, whoa, like he's gonna have a heck of a game tonight, and he normally does, so it works. So yeah, that's probably the one where I'm like, geez, that guy's looks like a psycho right now, but. Dan, Dan McMahon, like he gets going, which I think is cool. It gets me going, watching him. So yeah,
Well, I've seen you have sacks and touchdowns, obviously playing both sides. Do you have a dance, or I've seen you flex? Is that basically your dance? Is just you flexing?
Yeah, well, that was a one-time thing. That was when like emotions were really high, and I remember I looked back on film and I was like, oh, I definitely should have done that. I try to like keep like any if I'm ever gonna celebrate or like have any sense of celebration, it's only for the pure fact to bring momentum on my team. It's never to like rub it in the other team's face or showboating. So like if I ever do get excited or hyped up, it's just to get my team excited and hyped up. It's not to like bring the other team down. So I really don't like want to like dance or like throw the ball. Like if I ever score a touchdown or get a big run or even get a fumble, I just try to toss the ball to the ref and get excited with my teammates. That's probably the best celebration is celebrating with your teammates. You know,
That's Mason's way of saying I don't really dance. I'm not that good of a dancer, so I
no,
just
I'm not.
avoid it.
Yeah, I'm not a dancer. No, you can ask anyone that watched we have a homecoming like dance for all the homecoming candidates. You'd ask anyone that watched that. I'm not a dancer really. So yeah,
Okay, okay, fair
yeah.
enough. Well, I will say this though, as far as like we talked earlier about having friends of different ages, and I'm not trying to say I'm old, but I am old enough to say that, when I've gone and talked to students at high school or college level that are about to, graduate and get into the world or get into, my industry of broadcasting here, I always tell them to enjoy the little things because I've caught myself so many times uttering the phrase, "Oh, well, next time." And then there's not a next time. And I know for you guys as athletes, like there is a lot that can happen to you in an instant. You never know if one snap could be your last at a certain level, a certain season, or maybe your career entirely. And you hope that that doesn't happen. But I always tell people, like, hey, if you want to score a touchdown and do a little dance because you've always wanted to, do it, and don't make it like a regular thing. But if you have like a weird bucket list that says, "Oh man, I've always wanted to hit like the Carlton or the Gritty after a touchdown," just do it. And if you want to take a selfie somewhere, take the selfie. But life is too short to put yourself in a situation of, well, next time, because there just might not be it. So I know that might not go over great with Coach Cheetah because he's a very humble guy and very, like we're respectful and whatever. And I'm not saying to be disrespectful, but if there's opportunity to do things that you've always wanted to do and it's not going to be more than just like a hey, watch yourself, then do it. But that's just for me personally to you guys because I know if I was any kind of talented athlete, I would have absolutely loved to do a touchdown dance, in high school or something like that. So
I agree. I'm there for I'm there. It's never been like in my thing. You know, it's not
I
on a
get it.
bucket list of mine. So yeah.
For sure. Okay, so that is a nice segue into kind of the home stretch of the last couple of questions here, which is, what is next for Mason Kralj? Like, obviously, your senior year, enjoy it. It goes by faster than ever. But then, college, that's where I really came out of my shell. Those were some of my favorite years was college. So I don't know if you have plans on where you want to commit or what you want to do, what you want to achieve and take away from college or your last year in high school, but like what's next, short and maybe a little longish term.
You know, obviously I want to, go play college football somewhere, and I really don't know where that's going to be or when that's going to be, but uh, most importantly, I want to go to college and become a teacher and a coach. You know, a lot of teachers and coaches in my life have impacted my life in a very positive manner, and I would love to do that to someone that was just like me. Do that to someone. So I really want to be a football coach and hopefully a college football coach someday, but that's really my biggest goal is to have a great family and be a college football coach. So that would be my long term, and then shorter term would be to obviously go play college football and get a degree. So yeah.
All right, man. Well, that's all I think very reasonable, and I respect you because I know you, but the people watching this may not know you like I do, but these are all very Mason Kralj goals, folks. I can tell you that right now. The kid is, if nothing else, humble, and he knows that he can make the biggest impact, as a teacher or a coach, and I respect the hell out of that. So, the last one for you, Mason, is what do you want the legacy of Mason Kralj to be when you walk across that stage your last time as a Great Falls High Bison?
I just hope that people remember me as like, first off, a really, really hard worker, a guy that was going to do anything he needs to do to help his team, whatever sport, it was, whatever game it was, to help his team win. I really want them to remember me as a guy that, would never miss a workout. If anything, he'd be a guy that schedule, an unscheduled thing or go do his own thing and try to put more work in. But probably above that would be a guy that is just a nice human. I think it's really important to include younger guys and include people that may not always be included sometimes. So I hope I'm just remembered as a person that's a nice human. And I hope some people, that are younger than me, even if it's just one person, they could see that and try to replicate that, try to be a nice person and work hard. I think those are two values that you can, really carry with you, not only on the field, but throughout life, is working hard and being a nice human to people. So yeah, probably those would be the two main things.
It takes little to no effort to do simple acts of kindness, and you never know the kind of day you could change for somebody. I try to practice that so much, and it's not like I'm trying to earn good karma points or whatever they say. It's just like it. I know that every time I go back to Full Sail University or to schools that I've attended and visit old teachers and they want me to talk to their kids or whatever, I try to help however I can because I want to be the person that I wish I had going through some of the toughest times in life. And I think that you're somebody that's definitely poised to have a similar impact. And that's why I love talking to guys like you, especially you, Mason. You're a phenomenal athlete, even better student and leader, and couldn't have thought of a better person more suited to lead off this new series, Stars of Big Sky Country. So, any quote you want to leave us with before we send you off to finish off your high school career and your senior year?
My favorite thing, a lot of people have heard me say this, but every day is a great day to have a great day. That's kind of my thing is, every day is a great day to have a great day. So I think that's something you should live by. And I think if more and more people in this world live by that, I think we'd have a more lovely world, so yeah.
All right, man. Well, I have certainly enjoyed watching you play. I remember the first time I ever met Mason Kralj. For those that want a quick story, it was so much fun. It was one of the annual Bison Kids Camps, and here's this guy who he's not an upperclassman. He's just there as a volunteer to help out, and he's cheering on these little kids that have no idea really what's going on. They just see ball, get ball, run around with ball, and he's high-fiving all of them. He's trying so hard to remember everybody's name, and he gets them wrong sometimes, and he'll be like, "Well, you're Riley now, for whatever for the rest of this day." But he's the kind of person that you want to do great things and that you want to be a pillar of your community, and he certainly is that for Great Falls. So hey man, your effort has not gone unnoticed with me here, or I'm sure a lot of people in Great Falls.
Well, thank you so much. That means a lot to you, man. And thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been a great conversation. Halloween is coming up. If anybody is running low on costume ideas, there was a superhero back in the day that would count down the top 5 plays of the week. I think you get bonus candy if you dress up like that. But, just throwing out some ideas if anybody's stumped. But anyway, this has been a fantastic first episode of a brand new series spotlighting those at the high school, collegiate, and professional level that have had an impact right here in the 406. It is Stars of Big Sky Country. So one more time, the man I lovingly refer to as the man beast of Memorial Stadium, Mason Kralj. I'm the team man of Richard Tiemann, and until next time, you can catch us among the stars of Big Sky Country. We'll see you next time.